Okay. Changes to Zana and the Atlas. In Path of Exile, they'll be making some improvements to Zana's questline and also introducing new feature on the Atlas called the Shaper Stronghold that create a more powerful Shaper influence. Okay. Initial quests that Zana offers to explore. Shaper and other films and no Atlas also offer maps as quest rewards. These maps will be of the same tier of the map you explored. For example, if Always has Shaper influence, the quest will indicate that you should investigate Always map. Upon completing the quest objective, Zana will reward you with any tier 2 map of your choice. This means that this shit here, let me get the base spin going. Okay. This map is free. 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 This map is now free. And one of these is now free. And one of this is now free. So basically, this change means that the good old solo self-fun Atlas progression, where you're going like very strictly on some of the maps, is gone. Apart from like a few of the early maps, if you want to do that, you don't need to do any of that anymore. You just make sure that whenever you do a Shaper influence map, when it's on the quest line, so whenever you do the first time of that tier, you know, when you do the first T1 Shaper influence, it gives you like Zana XP, right? T2, T3, 4 and 5 gives Zana XP. Then T6 gives you Zana XP. The first memory fragment and Elder influence will spawn on that map. So all you need to do is make sure that if you already don't have the map, like the hard to obtain maps on the tier, you just take them. That long. Okay. That's it. So a lot of the progression guide is kinda like useless now. Like this tier, this here, the map by map method is basically non-existent now, because you get the maps that you're targeting. Let me I have the picture here. So here's the picture of the hard to obtain maps, right? So previously on the Atlas, you would I mean, unless you're doing the walling strat or waiting, like hoping from Zana to sell you the map, is previously you were like running Toxic Supers as your first T5 because you wanted to find Phantasmagoria. Now that doesn't matter, because the moment you run the Shaper Influence T6, now Zana will reward you any T6 map. You're just gonna take Phantasmagoria and you don't have to care about it anymore. Same goes for Gardens in T7, Mineral Pools in T8, Temple in T9, Shipyard in T10, and if you're going Reds, then Primordial Pool in T11. And then in T2s and T3s, well, you can get one of the T2s. So, do you prefer to run Beaches at the start? Well, then you take Pen. Because you will most likely, if you'd rather run these, I mean, ideally you just run either of these, you get the other one, and then you get the other one from Zana. For T3s, you have to farm a bit if you want to do it that way, but yeah. Like there's what, Cells, Leyline, Port, Burial, so there's 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So if you, ideally you don't do it here, but obviously you just take the last one. That's what you do. You farm You farm until you're missing one map, and then you take that one map from the Zana. That's it. Now, I don't know if you can postpone taking the reward from Zana. Like, you know how you can like postpone taking like skill point quests or gem rewards or flask rewards or whatever. If that's the case, then you just do the influence, and then you wait until you have everything except that one map, and then you go get it. That works too. It's really easy. Can link the image. Type exclamation mark Atlas. Click. Fuck it. I'll just keep it. Yeah. So basically, this change here took a lot from that, and I don't like that. I don't like this change, because all you need to know now is what maps are hard to obtain, and that's it. That's what this did. Okay. Like I liked the like how if you wanted to minimax to get the progress that way, that you could do it, and now it's just kind of like obsolete. So I don't personally like that too much. Though it's when I'm progressing my Atlas, it's gonna make it so much easier, but I don't like everything to be easier, I guess. And then the placement of the influence for these quests will always have a higher chance of being placed in the maps that you have completed over, or you know. This actually, I like this one. I like this one. I like this change. This is really nice. There is a new feature on the Atlas called Shaper Stronghold. This influence is more powerful Shaper influence that cannot be defeated by Elder naturally. Read as this is permanent unless you run it. Remember Elder Guardians and Elder, if you didn't kill them, they were permanent. So you can do some shenanigans with this shit. Only you can impact removing this from Atlas. On completing these influence maps, you will receive extra rewards, including chisels, sextants, unique items, including ones that would normally be received to leads. Clearly, the idea is to make people run these maps, so to take away from the shaped map meta. I like it. But you can also just run the shaped map meta while flipping the influence in the map that you want, and whenever a shape or stronghold happens near the area that you are farming your shape map, you just go run it. So this doesn't really take away anything from that. It's actually buffing the shape meta too. But regardless, I like the idea that like some of the maps are more rewarding and they're just like randomly, and you should know what the maps are. And it will most likely eventually also happen in the map that you're running, like flip-flopping as well. Assuming that you clear the old Shaper strongholds away from the other areas. Then it can spawn on the map that you're running. There are 4 of these initially on yellow maps. Upon completion, each one will appear on the red. When completing this, they will have a chance to randomly spawn on the when Shaper influence is created. Percentage chance whenever a Shaper influence spawns. So yeah, when you're running this map here, you keep running. Let's say that you keep running this map. I think it's Tropical Island. So first it turns into Elder influence. Okay, then you run it away. This Shaper influence is still here. Now that this is gonna go back to Shaper influence, it has a chance to be a stronghold. Its tier can't be guaranteed, but you can resprint. Yeah. So, do you guys want to me to show you how you do it? I can show it with this map as an example, or I can do it with the tutorial or whatever. when it says there are 4 of these initially on yellow maps. So actually one thing I'm not 100% sure is there a limit to this? Because if there is no limit, then eventually every single of your shaper maps would be a stronghold. And then you just run them. And then you go back to flip-flopping. But I don't think... I'm pretty sure there will be some kind of limit. I would assume it's 4. But... if there is no limit, then you just flip-flop the map that you want. Until all eternity. And occasionally run 1 or 2 strongholds. So this is actually, this change here is a buff to people not doing shaped Atlas, and it's a buff to people doing shaped Atlas, which I kind of like. I really like it that it's not like strictly buffed to either of them, but this will definitely help shaped Atlas meta as well. Do you have like an Atlas picture I can show? But it's one thing it's very weird is they removed the Elder like loop shit, but now they added this, and this is like basically a minor feature of the same shit. This is a lot like simpler though. Okay, so here we have Atlas. I'll show it on a burial chambers. I want... okay, so can I do this so that it doesn't do that shit? I want my burial chambers to be the map that I farm, okay? Right? So that means that I don't... I want a stronghold next to this map. Because Elder, like I have Elder influence. Okay, let's say I have Elder influence in... Can I do this? I have Elder influence on these 4 maps. If I have Shaper Stronghold here, whenever I run... let's say that this map is now Shaper influenced. When I run this map, it turns into Elder influence. It can't spread into relic chambers because this is now Shaper influenced as well. If this was not Shaper influenced, there's a chance that when you change the influence, you get another map too. This also works the other way around. So by cutting off the progression here, it means that you will never have a situation where you have Elder influence on this map, and this map. Because if this wasn't a stronghold, and you get the Elder influence on here, so all of these are Elder influence now, when you run this map, it won't change into Shaper influence, because it didn't have an adjacent Shaper map to it. So it will just be no influence, and then you have to run another map, and when you finish that map, then it has a chance to go back to Shaper. Usually it goes within like few maps. But that means that you're either running burial chambers with no influence, or you run something else. So by having the stronghold there, you completely remove that option. What you don't remove is, okay, now this is Elder influence, and when you run this map, because you have a adjacent Shaper map to it, now this map will change into Shaper influence. Now that means that this map can also turn into Shaper influence, and in this case then you will have Shaper, Shaper, Shaper. So that part of the randomness of sometimes running a non-influence map still exists, but it removes half of it, which is pretty fucking insane. So now how you get that is you literally get Elder influence somewhere. It could be like get Elder influence on these maps, and then you just flip-flop this map until it gets Stronghold. That's it. Once it has stronghold, nice. You could do it on marshes. So you get the Elder Influence here, and then you flip-flop this map until you get the stronghold. And now you have it. Now have the anchor, like strong, like I guess I'm gonna call it just like SS, like Shaper Stronghold or whatever. You could also this is like worse version of it, but let's say that you get a stronghold here. This helps the spread further from here. Actually, let's put it here instead. So let's say I have the influence here. This is like my Elder Influence, these maps here, and then I'm flip-flopping this. Actually, let's take it out. So what it does, it limits the spread from here, but it doesn't do anything for this situation here, right? So that's why you need the stronghold to be on the adjacent map, because now if all of these are Elder influenced, when you run it, it's just no influence. Okay. Now there's an interesting kind of cool thing for the underground sea runners. As an example, let's say we have Elder influence here. This is my Elder influence. Okay, these maps are my Elder influence. If I have strongholds here, here, and here, the only way and the only map that can get stronghold is this map. So now you're running Elder influenced underground sea, and you're running Shaper influenced underground sea, and you're running Shaper stronghold underground seas. So first you need to set up the stronghold to limit the program, like all of the Elder influence spreading. And now, I mean, ideally you would also have Shaper stronghold here, but this is again, I don't know if we have 4, if 4 is the limited, or if there's more. Because if there is let's say that there's a limit of 5 maps, then this is like it. You get stronghold. Actually, this doesn't need to be stronghold either, but sulfur vents, ramparts, and underground river. If you get Shaper strongholds in these 3 maps, then you have a guaranteed only map that can switch influence is underground sea. I'm pretty sure you can have like Shaper influence here in these maps, but I'm not sure if the stronghold itself can there. But this here will increase the chances of getting it here a lot. I mean, sure, I guess these maps can change the influence because Shaper is attacking them, but for the majority of the time, what I've been seeing when I've been running maps, Elder always pushes Shaper back. So let's say Elder, like Shaper takes that, eventually Elder will take it back. And this is a lot of maps, so the chances of losing all of this is quite slim. And I mean, you can also, you wouldn't get it on sulfur vents. You would prefer to get the Ashen Wood for the Guardian, because now this map has 3 different connections, right? So if you have Ashen Wood as a stronghold and this is Elder influence, the only map that it can take is sulfur vents. While if you have it on sulfur vents, it can take Volcano Gorge or Atoll or all of them. So you want to limit the amount of connections the stronghold has to your Elder influence to minimum. You could have it in Armory, but that means that then you have Elder influence here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't matter. There's few options. You could have it on Ashenwood Armory or Ashenwood Ramparts, and then get one on the Underground River. Like this here, it looks pretty damn good. The only connection from Armory is Ramparts. The only connection from Ashen is Sulfur. The only connection from Underground River is Underground Sea. So now you have Atoll, Gorge and Volcano kind of like protecting sulfur vents here, and so on and so on. Of course, Shaper can go and take some, so occasionally you might need to run some maps. Like this map could turn into a Shaper stronghold, right? Now, if there is a limit to Shaper stronghold maps, and it's 4, this setup here is like fucking god tier. Because the only maps that can turn into Shaper stronghold are now Sulfur Vents, Ramparts, and Underground Sea. Make this into a 12, make that an... Okay, you wouldn't have that as a T10, but... And even better, if you could even... If you don't want to have, like, run the Underground Sea as a... What's it called? Stronghold. You could make it another place, like here. Like beforehand. And now the only influence can switch is here, and it's just like normal influence switch. But there's like few things we don't know. But either way, regardless how it is, if there is limit or there isn't limit, this is gonna help the Shaper, like the shape map meta a lot as well. This is basically just like locking the current flip-flop into a more secure flip-flop. You can do this on like in a lot of places. You could completely lock one section of the red map from this too. Is there any other map I would like? Let's say I wanna run Estuary. Stronghold, stronghold, stronghold. Elder influence elsewhere here. Boom, done. Maybe even put it here. And now that's only one connection, that's one connection. And that's 4 maps. There's like, you can do, this opens up so many like more shaped map strats than we had previously pretty much. Now, my guess is that they are gonna make, maybe not this patch, but maybe the next patch, unless they... Like, I don't know if they want this to be a thing, but I would assume they do, because they explicitly say here, this influence is a more powerful Shaper influence that cannot be defeated by the Elder naturally. So that makes me believe that they did think about it, like the old Elder loop system, where if something cannot be taken unless you do it, it will be used as a way to control the influence. So I think they want us to be able to do it, but just in a limited way, because the Elder loop was just like complete lockdown, and this is like locking a smaller portion of the maps. And also you can run these maps. You can now run the shore if you want for the extra reward as well. It's kind of cool, but I really want to know if there's a limit. I'm assuming there's a limit. I'm assuming it's the 4 map limit, which is mentioned here. There are 4 of these initially in yellow maps. Upon completion, each one will appear on red maps. Upon completing these, they will have a chance. So I believe that it's 4. And I hope that it's 4, because I hope there is a limit, because if there is no limit, then you can start seeing some hilarious shit. You can start seeing people like actually like getting strongholds fucking everywhere like this, like one by one. You could probably fill almost like your whole Atlas with the stronghold if you wanted to, if there was no limit. Eventually. It would be hilarious, but damn, that would be so nice, in a way. Just see someone with an Atlas, which is just strongholds, and never run them. But there has to be a limit. There's no way there is no limit. Yeah. That's basically it. Opens up more options for shapes shit. Buff for them. It's a buff for non-shaped as well, obviously. The Zana giving you all of the hard to obtain maps is a change I don't really like, but it's gonna make Atlas progression a lot easier, which I guess is, for the vast majority of people, a feels good man. And yeah, that's it. That was a lot longer than I expected. I went into explaining way too much. But yeah.